Hey, good afternoon, team. I want to record this real quick, a little impromptu video on how to sign somebody up for Zoom Energy, especially for those of you all that are new. This is going to be very, very brief, just a few minutes long. I'm not going to go too much into detail since our enrollment process for our Zoom Energy has actually been simplified, right? So when you're going to sign somebody up for Zoom Energy, you have to first of all go to your personal website. So I'm going to go to my personal website right now. And you want to make sure that always you are on your website. Believe it or not, sometimes a lot of people have a similar website, maybe just a letter or a dot could be in a different place and you might end up at somebody else's website. So always make sure you're on the website. So if you see up here, it's got my name, right? If you're signing up for let's just say it's a house or residential, you're going to go over to services. You're going to go to residential. You're going to scroll down to where it says gas and electricity. All right. Now, if you can, try to have a bill in front of you for the customer that you're going to be switching over, right? Now, I'm not going to go into how to be able to do the rate calculations right now. This is just how to sign somebody up. Maybe I'll make a little video later on how to do the calculations right now. But this is just to kind of give you an idea. So you're going to check availability. And pretty much what that means is to see if there's energy in a deregulated energy available at that particular address. And what I mean by deregulated energy is that any company can go because some areas, especially here in our area, they're co-ops like Magic Valley, which means that no other energy company can go in. So if you see on the screen right here, as of today, until the end of October, we have a promotion. The new customer will get a $100 e-gift card for new customers. If you can do gas in the states that we do gas, here in Texas we don't do gas, but in like Georgia, California, or in the states where we do gas, they can get a $50 e-gift card for new natural gas customers, right? So we'll talk more about that later. And it does appear, like I said, this is literally just hot off the press. It's a gift card from Amazon, Home Depot, Lowe's, a Target, or Walmart, which is really, really, really cool after 2 months of paying on time. All right. So let's just say we're going to do somebody lives in 78501. Okay. You want to make sure it says residential there. And it's going to search. Now, if you notice right here, it says AEP Central. By the way, AEP is the utility company that owns all the meters. They own all the lines. And everybody has to go through AEP here in our area. If an energy provider tells you that they don't have to pay AEP, they're lying to you. It's like driving a car without wheels. You have to have the wheels, right? So anyway, so we have the variable plans, which are the no contract plans, the fixed plans, and then the renewable energy plans. Now, I usually go straight to the fixed plans, right? And we got the 12-month plan, which is unbundled, the Sherlock 12. We have the Rescue Lock 12. I know the difference between the Rescue Lock 12 and the regular unbundled. On the Rescue Lock, 5% goes towards PetSmart charities for homeless animals. The Simply Clean 12, 50% of the energy is from renewable sources, all right? The 24-month plan, 5% goes towards Driscoll's Children's Hospitals, as you see right here. It says Driscoll's Children's Hospitals. By the way, like I said, I'm not going to do a training on rates, but if you want to see the actual average rate, depending on their usage, you go right here where it says electricity fax label. That's where that opens up. And then you can see the average of whatever they may be using, all right, based on their consumption. They usually do the calculation, but we'll talk about that later. That's not what this video is about. The 36 months, it's of course a 36-month plan, but let's assume that they want to go for the 36-month plan, all right? This is actually the best rate here in our area if you look at all the rates, all right? So right now, for anybody who uses over 2,000 kilowatts, the average would be 11 cents and a half, pretty much, right? You just move the decimal. So you're going to choose, let's just say they want the 36. And then we need to pull up the address of the property. Now, in this example, I don't have a bill that I can use, but you can either pull a property with either the bill will have the ESI number or the address. If you have the ESI number, which starts with a 132, typically it's like a 100, 32, 78, 94. They all start with 100, 32, 78, 94, and then just the last few numbers, right? If you don't have the ESI number and you literally don't know what the ESI number is, you can always call AEP, give them the address or the meter number on the physical meter, and they'll give you the ESI number. Now, you can also pull it by the address. I personally prefer by the ESI number because some addresses can have a different address for the meter. It could be like avenue as opposed to street or lane or unit. It could be suite, it could be apartment. So sometimes it could be case sensitive. So I'm just going to make up an address and put, let me see if this address pops up. I'm going to put 814 and I'm going to put 5th Street. We're not switching anybody, but this is just for an example, all right? So I put 814 North 5th Street, all right? And let's see if there's such an address. Coincidentally, there is, okay? So here you'll see the ESI number for that particular property. And if they are moving into the property, you choose moving, right? But even if they're moving, I always put priority move in because it goes in faster, right? So my recommendation is always go with priority move in. That way it gets connected fast, and typically there's zero charge for priority. Some areas like Encore, they might charge you like $3 or something like that, but you know, typically there's no charge, right? I know you don't see it there, but you know, just, you know, typically it's no charge. So in this case, let's just say that the earliest date would be on the 26th, which is technically today. You would click here, right? And then you're going to hit continue enrollment. Now you want to make sure that your business ID is always showing here, okay? Now, if I was actually doing this for, let's just say, I'm just going to put, you know, Bill Johnson. I'm going to make up a name, right, for the customer. I would put my email address here. That way I get a copy of the enrollment, all right? See how I check off the little box says? Please send my independent business owner a copy of my confirmation email for the records. That's you, an IBO, right? So if you don't see your business ID here, that means you might have goofed up somewhere. So I'm going to put Bill Johnson here, all right? Bill, first name goes there. Johnson. I'm going to make up a phone number. I'm going to put 956-789-2514. It's a cell number, so I'm going to put cell number right there. All right. And we're going to put an email address, right? So I'm going to put one of my email address here. It has to be a email address. So let me see, which one can I put? I'll put, let's see which one, what can I do here? All this one, McAllen Real Estate Pro at gmail.com. It has to be a real email address, right? McAllen. See, and you always want to double check, make sure you didn't miss any letters, right? McAllen Real Estate Pro at gmail.com. All right. Okay, so it's a real email. Now, if they want to go paperless, leave that little box checked off. If they want a paper bill, leave it unchecked. Now, during this pandemic season, I don't know if you've noticed, but mail has been arriving somewhat late. So if you can, in this case, well, I would prefer to receive a paper bill. In this season, Zoom has told me directly when I've talked to them for their customer service that they're recommending customers to go with electronic. That way they get their bill on their email address and they don't miss it, right? Now, so English or Spanish, let's say Bill Johnson speaks English. You're gonna make sure that's the language they prefer. On the service type or service information, excuse me, the address is here. It's not an apartment, it's a house. And I'm using the billing address to receive the bills. Don't worry about this. If the customer wants to do auto bill enrollment, then right there is where they would, like later on, a couple of pages down towards the end, they'll put like their credit card so they can pay their bill automatically. If the customer wants to do that now, that is cool. But for now, I'm not going to do that. So we're going to continue enrollment. Now, obviously, there's no such person at Bill John. The name is Bill Johnson that is switching to that address. Now, the second step is for identity verification and credit analysis. All right. So you can search by Social Security, driver's license, or they don't have either. Then they would just, see if maybe by their address, their name, or their date of birth, some kind of credit history might pop up. Or if they're doing their driver's license, they could put their driver's license information, the state, their driver's license number, and their date of birth. I recommend go by the social. So it'll be the full social and their date of birth. All right. Now I'm not going to put this because I'm not going to make up a social, but normally what would happen here is on the next page, if they have good credit, it'll say no deposit required. And then there's a little box you check off, continue, you're done, you get an account number, you're finished. If there's a deposit required, they have a couple of options. They can either pay the deposit. If it's an apartment, it's $163. If it's a house, it's $250. Now, if they pay on time for 12 months, they do get it back as a credit. They don't lose it, okay? Now, if let's just say that it says deposit required, but they're over 65, many times Zoom Energy will waive that deposit because they're over 65. So it'll ask like for identification validation. So you finish it out and then you're going to send an email or with the customer's email to ID validation at zoomenergy.com. That's ID validation at zoomenergy.com. You're going to send a copy of the driver's license for that person to Zoom Energy. In the subject, you put the account number that it created and the name. In the body, I just put the address, the account number, and that's of course, the name of the customer as well, the standard stuff, right? and then you send it off. Typically within about 24 to 72 hours, they'll get back. What if I have to do that in that case? I just call Zoom Energy with the customer and I say, hey, you know what? This is David Olivares. I'm with my customer, Mr. Bill Johnson. He's actually 78, and we submitted his driver's license to prove that he's over 78. Can you check if you received it? Depending how busy they are, they may be able to check in real time. And I've gotten lucky a couple of times where they said, okay, you know what, we'll approve it. Uh, you know, the department for the ID verification closes at 5 Central Standard Time. They can do it before, they can get authorization to be able to connect the power by the next day, right? But typically it takes about 3 days. That's in the event of that if there's an exception. There's also another exception if somebody legislates require a deposit, but somebody has either been a victim of domestic violence, right? There's typically a document that they receive and that can be sent over to Zoom Energy. Try to have the customer send that from their email because sometimes it's personal information, obviously. Or if they receive some kind of government assistance like food stamps, they can also send a verification of that. And many times the energy company will waive that deposit, right? My recommendation, if it's just for bad credit, have them pay the deposit right there on the spot before you check out, and you're good. Power can be turned on even the same day. So anyway, hope this little brief training kind of gave you some tips. This was real fast. I really didn't plan this. I just kind of decided to do this right now, just on the fly. But later on, I may do something to be able to show you how to do all the rates and calculations. But hopefully, this will can help you out. Enjoy your day and blessings all.